Hi there. Today we're going to discuss the distributive property. Objectives and standards. Today we're going to apply the distributive property to rewrite algebraic expressions. Use the distributive property. The distributive property states to multiply a sum or difference by a number. Multiply each term inside the parentheses by the number outside the parentheses. How to use the distributive property. Step 1. Expand the expression by multiplying the number on the outside to all the numbers on the inside of the grouping symbols. Step 2 is to simplify. So in this example, A times a quantity B times C, the number being multiplied is A. That's on the outside of the grouping symbols. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it by multiplying the number on the outside times every number in the inside. So this now becomes A times B plus A times C. The same applies for subtraction. Important information before you distribute. It does not matter if the number multiplied is in the front or the back. If it's in the back, just remember to still distribute from left to right inside the parentheses. And then the last thing, which is probably really helpful, is to rewrite the subtraction sentences to addition sentences before you distribute. So if ever in the parentheses it's a subtraction sentence, you're going to rewrite it as an addition sentence. Here's example number 1. We have 8 times negative 9 times 4. So the number that's being distributed is 8. That's on the outside of the grouping symbols. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 8 times negative 9. Okay, the operation is addition. And then I'm going to multiply 8 times 4. So 8 times negative 9 is negative 72, plus 8 times 4 is 32. Now all you're going to do is simplify. So negative 72 plus 32, that equals negative 40. Okay, here's just another example with numbers. So we have 7 times 3 plus 12. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we distribute our 7 to every single number inside the parentheses. So we're going to multiply 7 times 3, and then we're going to multiply 7 times 12. So it's important that you do this step right here where you're expanding first before you try to solve it. So now we can simplify. 7 times 3 is 21, and then 7 times 12 is 84. So altogether, this is going to equal 105. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to algebraic expressions where we have a variable. So our expression is 4 times x plus 7. And so what we're going to do is we're going to expand this expression by distributing the 4. So we're going to have 4 times x, and then our operation is addition, and then 4 times 7. So now we have our expression that we can now multiply. So 4 times x is 4x, operation is plus, and then 4 times 7 is 28. Now this is the expression simplified because I cannot combine variables and numbers. So it's just left as 4x plus 28. Here's another example. Use the distributive property to write 6 times p minus 5. So again, what I want to make sure is that in this example, we have a subtraction sentence. We want to make sure that we rewrite it as an addition sentence. So I'm actually going to write it as 6 times p plus negative 5. Okay? So now we're going to distribute our 6. So 6 times p. Operation is now addition, and now we're multiplying 6 times negative 5. So now I can start multiplying. So 6 times p is 6p, and then 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. And just to simplify it, I can actually now write this as 6p minus 30. Okay. All right. Example number 4. use the distributive property to rewrite -2 times the quantity x plus 8. So, again, we have a subtraction sentence, so we're just going to rewrite it as an addition sentence. So -2 times x plus -8. Okay? Now, the number that's being distributed is -2. So we have -2 times x plus -2 times -8. All right. Now we're going to multiply our expression. So -2 times x is -2x. And then we have -2 times -8, which equals +16. So this is simplified as -2x plus 16. Here's an example where the number that is being distributed is in the back. So again, whenever it's in the back, it really doesn't matter if it's in the front or the back. You just have to remember to distribute from left to right, okay? So we're going to write this as 5 times -3x. And then we're going to multiply 5 times 7y. Okay, again, from left to right. Now that I have my expansion, now I can do my multiplication. So 5 times -3x is -15x. And then 5 times 7y is 35y. Now this is simplified because we have two different variables, and you can only combine variables that are alike. So we're just going to leave it as -15x plus 35y. Here's an example where we're dealing with rational numbers. So this is a fraction. So the first thing we're going to do is look at this and say, okay, it's a subtraction sentence. Let's change it to an addition sentence. So this is actually going to be 1/3 times x plus -6. All right. So the number that's being distributed is 1/3. So 1/3 times x, and then we're going to distribute the 1/3 times the -6. Okay, so now after we've distributed, now we can multiply. So 1/3 times x is just 1/3 x. And then 1/3 times -6 is -2. So now that we have this, we can just simplify it one final time to 1/3 x minus 2. Okay. I'm going to do two word problem examples where you're going to be using the distributive property in real life. So example 7 is Mr. Ito needs to buy batting helmets for the baseball team. The helmets he plans to buy are $19.95 each. Find the total cost if Mr. Ito needs to buy 9 batting helmets for the team. So what we're going to do is we're going to distribute um, this number. Now, normally what we would have done is 9 times 1995. But what they wanted you to do is they kind of wanted you to use a little bit of mental math for this. 1995 is very close to $20. So we're going to say 9 times $20, and then we're going to subtract 9 times 0.05, because 1995 is actually $20 minus 5 cents. So this is just kind of like a real life example where instead of just saying 9 times 1995, we could actually do it mentally if we said it was 9 times $20 minus the 5 cents to make it 1995. So here now we can distribute, and we can actually do this mentally. 9 times 20 is $180. And then 9 times 5 cents is 45 cents. And this is really easy now to do this mentally. So 180 minus 45 cents, that equals $179.55. So that's the total that we're going to be doing. So instead of, kind of taking out your calculator if you're at the store and trying to figure out this, or if you're trying to do it on pencil and paper, you can actually set up an equivalent sentence with, a rounded amount, 20 minus how much it is. So 5 cents. I'm going to do the same thing um, for number 7. It's just another example. So 15 students are buying t-shirts that cost $10.60 each. Use the distributive property to find the total cost of the shirts. So if we're doing this, we can say, okay, well, 1060 is kind of like the same thing as saying $10 plus 60 cents, okay? Because it's easier to multiply a number times 10 and a number times 60 cents. So we are buying 15 students. So we're actually going to set up the equation 15 times $10 minus, oh, I'm sorry, plus 60 cents. All right. Now we're just going to distribute this out. So we're going to do our 15 times 10, which again, very simple to multiply mentally, plus 15 times 60 cents. Okay, now that I set up my multiplication, now I can just start multiplying. So 15 times 10, again, is 150 bucks, plus 15 times 60 cents, that equals $9. So all now we have to do is just add 150 plus 9, and that's $159. Okay? All right, so today we applied the distributive property to rewrite algebraic expressions. I hope that video was helpful. Thank you. Bye.